Part 2. Okay, John said, turning to Ralph and holding on his hand. I'm sorry if I seemed a little brusque, Mr. Roberts, but sometimes these guys can be volatile. I especially worry about the ones who look sober because you can never tell what they do. John Lydecker. I had Johnny as a student when I was teaching at the community college, Bill said. Now that Ed Deaton was safely tucked away in the back of the cruise, he almost sounded giddy with relief. Good student, did an excellent term paper of the Children's Crusade. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ralph said, shaking Lydecker's hand. And don't worry, no offense taken. You weren't seen to come up here and confront me, you know. John said cheerfully. I was pissed off. I'm still pissed off. I can understand that you got away with it. That's the important thing. No, Helen's the important thing. Helen and the baby. I can ride with that. Tell me what you and Mr. Deaton talked about before we got up here, Mr. Roberts. Or can I call you Ralph? Ralph, please. He ran through his conversation with Ed, trying to keep it brief. McGovern heard some of it, but not all of it, and listened in round-eyed silence. Every time Ralph looked at him, he found himself wishing Bill had worn his Panama. He looked older without it, almost ancient. Well, that certainly sounds pretty weird, doesn't it? John remarked when Ralph had finished. What will happen? Will he go to jail? He shouldn't go to jail. He should be committed. Probably should be, John agreed, but there's a lot of distance between should be and will be. He won't go to jail, and he isn't going to be carted off to Sunnyvale Sanitarium either. That sort of thing only happens in old movies. Best we can hope for is some court-ordered therapy. But didn't Helen tell you? That lady didn't tell us anything when we didn't try to question her in the store. She was in a lot of pain, both physical and emotional. Yes, of course she was. Ralph said, stupid of me. She might corroborate your stuff later on, but she might not. Domestic abuse victims have a way of turning into clams, you know. Luckily, it really doesn't matter one way or the other under the new law. We got him nailed to the wall. You and the lady in the little store down the street can testify to Mrs. Deaton's condition and to who she said put her in that condition. I could testify to the fact that the business husband has blood in his hands. Best of all, he said the magic words, man, I just can't believe I hit her. I'd like you to come in probably tomorrow morning, if that works for you, so I can take a complete statement from you, Ralph. But that's just filling in the blanks. Basically, this one's a done deal. John took the toothpick out of his mouth, broke it, tossed it in the gutter, and produced his tube again. Peck, no thanks, Ralph said, smiling faintly. Don't blame me, lousy habit, but I'm trying to quit smoking, which is an even worse one. The thing about guys like Dino is that they're too goddamn smart for their own good. They go over the high tide, hurt someone, and then they pull back. If you get there soon enough after the blow-up, like you did, Ralph, you can almost see them standing up with their heads cocked, listening to the music and trying to get back on the beat. That's just how it was, Ralph said. Exactly how it was. It's a trick the bright ones managed for quite a while. They appear remorseful, appalled by their own actions, determined to make amends. They're persuasive, they're charming, and it's often all but impossible to see that underneath the sugar coating as there is none of these Christmas fruitcakes. Even extreme cases like Ted Bundy sometimes manage to look normal for years. The good news is that there aren't many guys like Ted Bundy out there, in spite of all the psycho killer books and movies. Ralph sighed deeply. What a mess. Yeah, but look at the bright side. We're going to be able to keep him away from her, at least for a while. He'll be out by supper time on $25 bail, but... $25? Bill asked. He sounded simultaneously shocked and cynical. That's all? Yep, Lydecker said. I gave Deaton the second-degree assault stuff because it does sound fearsome, but in the state of Maine, lumping up your wife is only a misdemeanor. Still, there's a nifty new wrinkle in the law, Chris said, joining them. If Ed wants bail, he has to agree that he'll absolutely have no contact with his wife until the case is settled in court. He can't come to the house or park on the street. Can't even call on the phone. If he doesn't agree, he sits in jail. Suppose he agrees and then comes back anyway, Ralph asked. Let me slam dunk him, Chris said, because that one is a felony. Or can be if the district attorney wants to play hardball. In any case, violators of the domestic violence bail agreement usually spend a lot more than just the afternoon in jail. And hopefully the spouse he breaks the agreement to visit will still be alive when it comes to trial, Bill said. Yeah, Lydecker said heavily. Sometimes that's a problem.